The room is silent, except for the faint scratch of a quill. A single candle burns low, throwing long shadows across an oak desk, piled high with ledgers, sealed letters, and maps of Europe. Outside, the distant echo of carriage wheels rattles through the narrow streets of Frankfurt. A man pauses, ink dripping from his pen. His eyes flick toward a set of iron-bound lockboxes beneath the floorboard documents no one else is meant to see. There are families whose names decorate monuments, and families whose names shape empires from behind the curtain. This is the story of one such family. Not a myth, not a legend, but a dynasty forged in the crucible of history through war, innovation, and an understanding of money so profound it changed the world forever. To understand the modern world, you must start here, in a cramped house in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt, where a gold dealer named Mayer Amschel Rothschild wrote letters that would ripple across centuries. Most people think that the global financial system simply evolved. Governments created central banks, markets regulated themselves, and capitalism emerged through a natural blend of innovation and necessity. But that's only part of the truth. The deeper story is more deliberate and more human. Before the 18th century, Europe was fragmented, uncertain, and financially primitive. Wars plunged nations into debt, and a king's signature on a piece of paper could spell ruin for thousands. Information traveled slowly, often taking weeks to cross borders. Money, the very lifeblood of empires, was fragile. Yet hidden within this fragility lay opportunity. The opportunity to build something new, something stable, something powerful. Most dynasties are born from crowns, swords, or land. This one was built from relationships, trust, and a revolutionary idea that information, capital, and loyalty could be woven together into a network stronger than any army. The world believed in borders. The Rothschilds believed in connections, and that belief would let them do something unprecedented, build the foundations of modern banking. We return to Frankfurt, 1760. The Judengasse is cramped and narrow, its gates locked at night, its population restricted by law. But inside one small home, a man named Mayer Amschel Rothschild studies ancient coins, trade routes, and political news with equal fascination. He is not merely a money changer, he is a strategist. Mayer understands that wealth in the 18th century is not defined by gold but by information. Kings and merchants need to know what is happening across Europe: wars, alliances, grain shortages, tax changes. Whoever controls that flow of knowledge controls opportunity. By cultivating relationships with princely courts and merchant families, Mayer becomes a trusted advisor, first to the Elector of Hesse-Kassel, then to other influential figures. He teaches his 5 sons not just the mechanics of finance, but the philosophy of it. Trust is worth more than coin. Information is worth more than trust. Mobility is worth more than borders. One by one, he sends each son across Europe to establish a branch of the family enterprise. Amschel stays in Frankfurt. Salomon goes to Vienna. Nathan is dispatched to London. Karl travels to Naples. James, the youngest, heads to Paris. Within a generation, the Rothschilds possess something no one else in Europe has: a family-run international financial network, operating faster than any government or army. Their letters move quicker than diplomats. Their couriers outride kings. Their intelligence is often more accurate than official reports. This is not a myth. It is documented history and innovation in communication and trust that would become the backbone of international finance. The word can be misleading. The Rothschilds did not rule nations. They did something far more enduring. They aligned with nations, earning influence through competence and reliability. Napoleonic Wars, the turning point. By the early 1800s, Europe is on fire. Napoleon's armies sweep across the continent. Kings flee. Economies collapse. And in the midst of that chaos stands Nathan Mayer Rothschild in London. He realizes something. Wars run on money, not muskets. The brothers create a transnational system to move funds across war-torn Europe for Britain and its allies. Their couriers dodge battle lines. Their bills of exchange allow soldiers to be paid thousands of miles from home. This is not clandestine manipulation, it is logistical genius. They become indispensable because they succeed where governments fail. The Battle of Waterloo, perhaps the most famous story. Nathan receiving news of Napoleon's defeat before the British government. While the legend of him controlling the stock market is exaggerated and often misrepresented, the core truth is striking. The Rothschilds had built the fastest information network in Europe, and information in finance is power. Funding nations. Through legitimate financial instruments, bond issuances, loans, and advisory work, the Rothschilds helped several governments stabilize after war. Britain, Prussia, Austria, France, under various regimes, and numerous smaller states. They championed the idea of international government bonds, which eventually become a cornerstone of modern finance. Not because they held a hidden agenda, but because global capital markets were the future, and they saw it before others did. Infrastructure and industry. The 19th century unfolds with explosive industrial growth. The Rothschilds move from war finance to building the modern world. Railways across Europe, mines that fuel industry, telegraph lines that accelerate communication, banks that enable international investment. Their role is undeniable. Their influence is immense, but it is influence born from skill, networks, and the trust they cultivated for decades. This is the real web, a network of family branches, reliable correspondence, and strategic partnerships that enabled capital to move across borders for the first time in history. What began as a small operation in a Frankfurt ghetto became the prototype for many features of today's financial world. 1. International banking networks. Modern multinational banks, from HSBC to JP Morgan, operate using principles pioneered by the Rothschilds. Multiple branches in different countries. Fast information exchange. Standardized financial instruments. 2. Sovereign bonds. Governments today raise money by issuing bonds, an idea that the Rothschilds helped normalize. This created an era in which nations could fund infrastructure, education, and public works, not by raising crippling taxes, but by appealing to global capital markets. 3. Communication systems. The Rothschild couriers, and later telegraph lines, anticipated the modern financial information networks that underpin global markets. 4. Private-public partnerships. Railways, canals, mines, many early mega projects were financed through collaboration between governments and Rothschild banks. This foreshadowed the public-private models used for highways, airports, and energy grids today. 5. Diversified global capitalism. The family demonstrated that financial power need not depend on land or birthright. Capital, knowledge, and networks could build influence more efficiently than noble lineage. Modern perception. The Rothschilds' visibility, wealth, and unique position in history have made them subjects of exaggeration and myth. But the verifiable legacy they leave behind is profound enough without embellishment. They helped create the architecture of global finance. Not secretly, not invisibly, but through documented, strategic, often visionary actions. History rarely changes in a single moment. It changes through the accumulation of small decisions, bold risks, and ideas that arrive before the world is ready for them. In a time when borders were iron walls, the Rothschilds imagined a Europe connected by trust. In an age when information crawled, they built systems to make it sprint. And in a century when wealth clung to tradition, They demonstrated that innovation, quiet, methodical, relentless, could reshape continents. Their story is not about secrecy. It is about vision, not about hidden control, but about the undeniable power of coordination and intelligence. If anything, the rise of the Rothschilds teaches us one enduring truth. The world is built not only by the powerful, but by those who understand how power works. The candle in Frankfurt burns low again. The quill is set aside. Letters sealed with wax lie ready for couriers who will ride through the night. From these letters, a global system was born. A system that still shapes your life today, every time you send money, check a market, or hear a nation speak of its debt. But this is only the beginning, because the story of money is not the story of a family, it is the story of us all, and the next chapter is far closer than you think.